Someone You Should Know. A program about people you know and even more that you don't. Hosted by Stuart Sax, veteran, husband, father, and grandfather. Now, here's your host, Stuart Sax.
Well, welcome to another edition of Someone You Should Know. Hope everyone is doing well. I mean, huge news this week, and all the vaccine is out. It's getting to our healthcare workers first. It's going to get out to the general public. We're over the hump and on the recovery side of the pandemic. Everybody I'm sure is absolutely elated. And thank you to Pfizer and to the other manufacturers. But I'm glad that you're with us again this morning for another edition of Someone You Should Know. I'm going to get right to the chase because I have a very, very dear friend who is my guest this morning, Earnest B. Morgan. Welcome to the show, Earnest B.
Hello, Stuart. Hello, my brother. It's been a long time. It's good to see you. Yes, sir.
we talk to each other periodically and all, and I got some really good news that we're going to share with the audience today. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to call you and say hello. Do I look nice?
Yes, sir. Nice.
Gotta take a picture.
Yes.
I said, this news is just too good to just share between us. Let's get you back on the show and talk about it, because you tell everybody what you're getting into now.
Well, Stuart, again, it's such a blessing to be here. It's just great. I just love KVGI radio. You guys are amazing. What we're getting into, first and foremost, I'm a full-time pastor here in Frisco. I pastor the Empowerment Church, Texas. Church is 4 years old, doing absolutely amazing. We right now just through the pandemic, we've been in my living room for 8 months, but God opened up a facility for us in September. So we moved in the North Hall of Hope Fellowship Church, mega church here in Frisco, and they gave us about 5,000 square feet to have church, and it's going amazing. And of course, we do online ministry. We do a whole lot of stuff, and my heart is always to help people. So in the meantime, in doing all that, we know the church, we grassroots organically started the church, and you was one of my major inspirations. I actually talked to you before I even opened the church. It was at Up Kitchen 4 years ago, and I was telling you I had this passion to start this ministry. So we've done it, and everything has been amazing. But at the core of who I am is reaching people. Okay, so my whole heart is reaching people, and whether that's selling barbecue or preaching the word of God or just doing what I can to support the community, that's my job and my call. So me and my wife got a history of barbecue. Over the last 15 years, we've owned 5 locations of a restaurant called Earnest B. That was in Mississippi. Okay, but we closed down those restaurants and moved to Frisco 5 years ago, and I haven't did no public cooking or advertisement in 5 years. Never told nobody about the barbecue. It was just kind of word of mouth behind the scene. But I saw after being in Frisco 5 years, I saw a market of where we could take something that we was just sitting on a major opportunity. Me and my wife, we sold the restaurant, but we didn't sell the recipe. We didn't sell what we do well. And of course, I'm Earnest B. So I felt that I could after 5 years watching Frisco and seeing the potential growth of Frisco, I felt the timing for me to come on the scene with a venture that has zero to do with my church, but loving people. So it's a total opposite. It's a personal business that me and my wife own. And so we closed the Mississippi brand down, and the Mississippi brand was Earnest B's Barbecue, home of the Texas style ribs. But we started a catering company called Earnest B's Barbecue and Catering Company, LLC. And that's totally, so we're taking it step by step, no brick and mortar. But we're going to put, where I have delivery service coming in 21. I have a food truck and all this other stuff that's going to happen in 2021. But again, I've watched the city for over 5 years, and I just saw out of the amazingness of Frisco, I saw where my product had a niche, and I felt like I waited the right time. And so on December the 7th, We launched just on, I went on Facebook and just out of the blue, just gave people my menu. And I tell you, my phone hadn't stopped ringing even before I come on the show. They was tearing up my Facebook page, people trying to place orders. And so in 2 weeks, we got just business. People are ordering for me. And it means a lot because I felt like I've sown such into the city of Frisco, and who I am as a person is serving people. And I'm telling you, just based on the scratching of this thing from the 7th of December, it looked promising for the future of Earnest B's in North Dallas.
Well, and the public, you know, they're not going to be strangers to Earnest B's barbecue, because over the last few years, you have been on site for the Camp Craig Allen event, Cookin' Barbecue, and that has been not only to present your style of barbecue, but it's also been a competition. And you have been part of that. So a lot of the people that are tuning in today already know, and I'm sure that they're starting to, the saliva is coming down the mouth right now, knowing that Earnest B is back in the barbecue business. Yes. But you know what is fascinating, and you said that, and I find it so hard to believe that it was just 4 short years. We sat down, we met one day at breakfast, and it was like an immediate kinship. And we used to meet every Friday morning, and we would sit next to each other. We'd have our coffee and our breakfast. And one day you said to me, you know, my brother, I've got something that's a little heavy on my heart. And would you mind if I ran it past you? And I said, absolutely. And you told me that, you know, you back in Mississippi, you were in the barbecue business. You also were in auto sales back there too. But you have always had a love for religion and always wanted to have your ministry. So that was already established in Mississippi. Now you move here to Texas, and you started working, selling vehicles, and you were still cooking a little bit of barbecue. And you had this idea that you wanted to start your ministry, and you're running all this past me. And I'm thinking, holy cow, this guy's got a lot on his plate. But you know, the one thing that we shared was we both knew that in your heart, if it feels good, do it. That, you know, if you feel, you know, I told you that I thought that it was a little bit tough. The 3 items were so far apart from each other that trying to juggle all 3 of those at the same time, I said, Ernest, you got to prioritize yourself. If you had your choice of those 3 things, selling vehicles, barbecue and ribs and sausage, a ministry, what's number 1 in your heart? And you said, the good Lord.
That's right.
And it was the ministry. and I said, well, then that's how you got to prioritize it. And you started out with your ministry at the Marriott Hotel, in a room at the Marriott.
Yes.
And you started bringing people in, and those people brought more people in. And pretty soon you were outgrowing the room that you were in at the Marriott. And again, in 4 years, I mean, I'm telling your story, but because I'm fascinated with what you've done. Then you were in the atrium over at the
Jaeger.
At Jaeger over in Allen. Mm-hmm. And now you have your own space, 5,000 square feet. You said at Hope Fellowship, which is a great location and great people over there at Hope Fellowship. And so now the ministry is going. Now, I know that also pre-pandemic, you not only were working in your religious conviction all week long, you had your Bible study classes, but every Saturday morning, I want you to tell the audience what you and your parishioners would do every Saturday morning, because it ties in together with what else we're talking about.
Okay, well, you told my story so major, because I mean, I could see
I'm going to help you write your book.
Yeah, you know, the progression of all the things that has happened to me, direct result of this whole journey has been my love for people. Okay, so my love for people has caused me to be successful. Everything I do, it always turn out well because I have no gray area. My love for people is, I'm all in. So in 2019, in January, when I first was trying to get the church off the ground, remember now, I moved here in 2015 and I didn't know one person in this whole area, but the guy hired me at Crest Infinity. And so we grew the business. The business at the car lot was me just being a personable person, going out in the public, engaging relationships, meeting no strangers, and loving everybody passionately. That was my whole purpose. But in 2019, January, I felt like I need to be doing some more. And we adopted this principle in the church: go serve and love. And what that means was I would go into the world or anywhere I seen a need, and with our infant church with no parishioners hardly when I started. But I felt like if I would just, people don't want to know what you know. They want to know how much you care. And I just wanted whatever I could do to, I'm in this big old major city, 215,000 people. Our church is just a speck. I mean, the wind would have just blew us away, but God sustained us in that season. So in 2019, I went down on Griffin and Cadiz and what's the name? Eve or Elve was the name of the road down there. Irve, downtown. We went down to the Bridge homeless shelter. And I would drive from North Dallas every Saturday, never miss one Saturday in a whole year, feeding homeless people from 175 to 250 people. And it's people like yourself that would make contributions to the church. And we didn't get no government assistance. It was just all through our offering plate. We was giving back, and we gave in 2019 over $20,000, that 25,000 that we used, that just came out of a miracle that we gave back to the public. Hygiene products, sanitizing. Before the virus hit, we was there every Saturday, hand in hand, and it would be so many people, and I could never have enough food, but I did it. I did it out of. I dedicated myself to it, and I committed to the cause. And so we went one solid year, never missed a Saturday, through the rain, through the sleet, through the snow. I knew they was depending on me, but I was trying to get my church established in this North Dallas area. And I said in 2020, I said, we're going to shift and we're going to go to Collin County because it's as great a economy in this area. So many people that still are having challenges with economics, having challenges with different things. And so what we done, we just went on and kept trying to develop. So in 2020, one of the things I wanted to do first, the first group I wanted to feed, the first group I actually reached out to in January was the police department and the fire department. Those were the first. I wanted to go in and help the service workers. So I went to the chief of police in Frisco and I asked him, could I come in and feed the police officers? And he said, our schedule kind of tight. Right now, we don't have a room, but I keep you in my Rolodex. So I seen him at Rotary Club in February, I sat at the table with the chief of Frisco. And I asked him again, I said, can I do anything in the city? He said, Ernest, I want to do it, but our schedules is kind of tight. So I just started helping other causes. So one of the things I wanted to do, one of the things that we've done, I saw our church as a beacon of hope. And I'm saying this on this level. So I couldn't find a whole lot of people to help. So I just started looking at other nonprofits in Frisco that was doing something in the city that wasn't per se church, okay, wasn't church, but it was helping people. Okay. It wasn't church, but it was helping people. So I went to my board and I said, listen, I know this is not a church service and it really don't have a direct tie to church, but it have a direct tie to people. And if you follow me, my heart is for people. And if we help people, regardless of where they're from. So I just started teaming up with Frisco Fast Packs, Frisco Family Services. I teamed up with Melody of Hope. I teamed up with Camp Craig Allen. I teamed up with, and then I started helping other churches. Now, this is from no money. We just looking at how in the world are we going to be sustained? And also we're going to help people. And I'm telling you, Stuart, it has been an amazing ride because it's never been I haven't met budget. And by the way, I've been full-time at the church 2.5 years from my job, and I left it at six-figure income, and I took a $60,000+ a year pay cut to start the church, and I exhausted all my income to 100% dive into what we're doing even today. And God has prospered. The greatest of people like you, friends to me, that has helped me through this journey. And my whole mission and focus has been, what can I do to help people? So in June, now watch this. January, I went to the chief. I couldn't get in Frisco PD. February, I went to the chief. I couldn't get in Frisco PD. In June, well, I think end of May, coming into June, George Floyd situation shows up. And they was protesting on El Dorado right here in Frisco. Now watch this. I'm from Mississippi, born and raised all my life. I know what racism is. If you want to ask anybody in the world what racism looks like, what it smells like, what it feels like to be stereotyped, I'm your guy. And I only moved to Frisco 5 years ago. So all my life, I grew up watching real racism take place before our eyes. So they was protesting on El Dorado. And I got a call from several friends in Frisco and said, Ernest, are you going to the protest? And I said, no. The reason I didn't go to the protest, I'm very aware I'm black, 100% black man. But I'm not called to Frisco to do nothing but bring people together. This is my call. My call is to, what can I do to solve a problem, not add fire to the flame. And so what I did, I came home and I prayed, and the mayor of Frisco and Chief David Shilston had the live stream on their phones as they lead in the protests out in leadership. I'm at home on my computer praying for the protest. I didn't go. I've been protesting all my life. Sometimes people heard, sometimes they didn't hear. So I just didn't feel like I had a dog in that fight. I'm black. Everybody know I'm black, but this is not who I am. God brought me here to bring people together. And what I did, I sit on my computer at the house in this very spot I'm doing this interview with you, and I began to pray. And the Spirit of God spoke to me and said, email the chief right now. Now, I've talked to him twice and couldn't get in. I emailed him while they was protesting, and before the day was out, Chief David Shilston called my house, and he said, Ernest, what can you do to help us? It just happened like that. And here we go.
Fell into place.
Everything fell into place. And I said, this is what I want to do. I want to feed 100 police officers and everybody for Frisco PD, families and all. And I'm cooking all the barbecue. Our church is providing it. And I cook 4 meats and all the sides for both shifts. I cooked 600 pounds of barbecue in 2 weeks by myself with zero help. So I fed on the 19th, and I fed on the first week. And by the way, watch how this works, Stuart, and to the viewers. Juneteenth was the Frisco PD's first is Juneteenth. I'm a black guy, so you might as well put the history with it. You know what happened in Juneteenth, okay? But I'm a black guy that God then convicted my heart to do something to help the city. So what I did, I'm well aware of his Juneteenth, but the chief made something aware to me. He said, Chief Shilston say, do you realize that today is the Frisco PD's banquet for the PD? But because of COVID-19, we canceled the banquet and your barbecue replaced the banquet. That's the first thing. Your barbecue replaces the banquet.
Right place, right time.
I'm talking about right place, right time. Everything just lined itself up. All of a sudden, I got not only the 100 police officers there and everybody at the staff, I got the mayor of Frisco shows up unannounced. I got Chief Shilston. He's there. Tony Felker, the president of CEO of the Frisco Chambers there.
Yep.
And just different attorneys and all these people. We got Melody of Hope playing live music on the patio of Frisco PD, and they let everybody want to come. They got tents set up. This is in the middle of COVID. The chief says the pressure right now with the George Floyd situation is so heavy, and here you show up and relieve the pressure with an act of kindness. That just messed me up. That was the first week. And then the next week, I fed 9 fire stations in Frisco. And all 115 firefighters for free. And we gave them top-notch barbecue. And I still didn't have the catering service in my mind. At that season, it was just, hey, this is Earnest. My church is small right now.
There was a need.
But my heart is big. You understand? See, because we understand preach, Stuart, but this is passion for me. Now we understood that COVID-19 showed us that the church was never the building. It was people.
It was the people. People helping people.
People helping. The church is people. Me and you are brothers. Okay. Me and Mark and you is brothers. And everybody else in the city. So I showed up with a whole different frame of mind is, what can I do to help Frisco, Texas? And that's what happened. So that was the first part of what I did.
You know, and if there is a downside to all of this, is that the pandemic has not allowed you to continue your work in the inner city on those Saturday mornings, because that's had to be curtailed, and the need for those people is still there, but they just didn't have the avenue. So hopefully now that we're starting to see the vaccine come out, that, you know, by springtime and all, you'll be back there helping those people again.
Well, I tell you what, a caveat to what you're saying, and I know I just want to throw this in. Okay, so the barbecue catering was inspired by me having to pivot and had to rethink, how would I view restaurants in this hour? Right now, restaurants, the walk-in traffic is so low. So what if I could prepare the food and take it to them? Okay, and then what if I can have this food truck and all this stuff that I have for my personal business that I can apply to take food like I never did before? And that what inspired the catering service, where I can be a blessing on wheels, where I can prepare the food and take it to the people. So that's what's coming in 21. We want to be in a better position that we can cook mass, I come to feed the multitudes, virtually thousands and thousands of people with listen, Stuart, no strings attached. My heart is for people. I just want to make sure when I lay down at night that I've done everything in a day that could change somebody's life, regardless of color, regardless of race, regardless of religion. I'm here as a representative of Christ himself, and whatever I can do. And somebody may be viewing me and want to partner with what I'm doing. You know, they may want to partner with me personally to help me change lives. Praise. That's what I want to say.
Well, you know, what's just truly amazing to me, and this goes back to our original conversation: vehicles, barbecue, and gospel. And that's who Earnest was in Mississippi. You're from a little town of Amory, Mississippi.
Yes.
And that's right outside of Tupelo.
Yes.
For those that, if that city sounds Tupelo, where have I heard Tupelo, Mississippi? That was the home of Elvis Presley.
Yes.
Where he was born and raised. So you were raised right outside of Tupelo, Mississippi. But vehicles, barbecue, and gospel. Now you move here. And in our conversations, I was thinking about it last night. You, dear friend, have come full circle, because when you really got into the gospel and wanted to start the Empowerment Church, you knew that you had to put other things on the side. So you had to put the barbecue and you put the vehicle sales on the side, and you devoted all of your time into the church. Now, all of a sudden, you knew you could never, ever get out of the barbecue business, because you were either going to do it for yourself and share it with others, or make a business out of it. And I applaud you now that you are back in the barbecue business. But the real kicker to the whole thing is, by springtime or summertime of next year, you're going to be back in the vehicle business, because you're going to now take your gospel, your barbecue, and put it on a vehicle. And you've brought those three things back together and it couldn't happen to a greater guy, and also your partner in crime, Cicely, your wife,
Yes.
who is a major force in everything that you've done. This is really, it's exciting for you, your family. It's exciting for Frisco, and it's going to be exciting for everyone in our area. And I'm absolutely thrilled for you. I can taste it already. I'm putting together an order for you to launch 2 weeks before Christmas. You said that the phone is ringing off the hook. Anybody that knows you and has experienced your barbecue through the Camp Craig Allen programs and everything knows, oh my gosh, he's in the catering business now. I got to place an order, and it's 2 weeks before Christmas. You're gonna be hopping, my friend.
Yes, and I need to hop. I'm ready. I tell you what, this has been such a amazing. COVID-19 has brought the best and the worst out of people. And my prayers are for families that have lost loved ones and got people that are battling COVID-19. I personally have lost loved ones and friends in COVID. But if I can do something in a day's time to make people smile and to make them feel good, a sense of purpose, that's my calling, is to do that. So, man, it's amazing.
I want people to know now, and take out a pen and pencil. You want to learn more about the new catering business. It's Earnest BBQ Catering.com. Go online, earnestbbqcatering.com. And the phone number will be there. We'll put the phone number on the screen too. But if you want, just go to that site. You will, first of all, you'll start salivating, because that picture of the slab of ribs that you got there is and so tell everybody you're doing ribs, you're doing ham, you're doing roasted chickens,
turkeys,
brisket. Sides.
Yeah, I'm doing brisket.
Now, one thing you do the Texas pork rib slabs, but you also do the rib tips.
And you got to get them.
and I've had the tips, and I got to tell you, the slab of ribs, that's good. The tips, boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And a side of some beans and some potato salad and the coleslaw.
Oh, yeah. Woo.
So it's there. And again, now, I've just laid out your menu. How many people are involved in your operation?
Me, and as far as the barbecue, is me, my son, my daughter. That's it. My son is 23, my daughter 21. Me and my wife, by the way, me and my wife will be together 24 years married, 2 more weeks on the 28th, and we've been together 26 years. So I thought I'd throw that out. So it's a very exciting time for me, but just only me, my son, daughter, and wife do the catering company.
But again, to those that are listening and watching this show, Ernest told you earlier, he provided 900 meals for the fire department and hundreds more for the police department. He's been cooking for masses. We're not talking about parties of 10 or 12, but it's 4 people, his immediate family, and all that are doing this. And there is absolutely no way that anybody can do something like that if it wasn't for their big heart and soul. And that's what I love most about you, my friend, is that you have got a heart and soul that is so much bigger than your stature. You just care about people. And it's something that you alluded to earlier. You said during the COVID, a lot of people have come out of the woodwork, and there's a lot of people that are doing things for their brothers and sisters. And my prayer is that once we're past this pandemic, we don't lose sight of that. We continue to help our brothers and sisters in any way that we possibly can. And we've had conversations about that. And I say that from my heart. And I know that that's what you preach from your altar is that, it's good to receive, but it's much greater to give.
That's right. That's right. Yes, sir.
It's amazing. So you are located now at Hope Fellowship Church.
Yes.
Tell everybody if they want to stop in for services, what time the services are.
Okay. So what we do 2 services per Sunday. I do a 10 a.m. online live stream at my church page, Empowerment Church TX. So I come on every Sunday morning with a live stream service that I do, just me and the cameraman, and we try to reach those people that's still COVID sensitive. So we don't want to leave nobody out. Everybody haven't came back. The church is only right now at 30% capacity. So I got some people that want to come back, and some people just remain online. Online, our church have grown 3 times, and we really minister to the miracle because people follow me all over the nation on service Sunday morning. So Empowerment Church TX, that's Facebook. Okay. But in person, we at Hope Fellowship Church right here in Frisco at 9950 Rollator Road, Frisco, Texas. This is a in-person service that we do at 3 p.m. in the evening. Now that's right now because of COVID, because I share a space with Hope. The only time I can get right now is a 3 p.m. service, but it's an amazing presence, great praise and worship. And I feel like I have a word every Sunday. But I invite you just to come out and be, and it's enough space in the place where you don't have to be worried about crammed up against people. We got masks, we got gloves, we got sanitizer, just whatever you want to, whatever makes you feel well. I just would love for you to be a guest. So that's at 3 p.m. On Sunday evenings.
And I don't doubt that pretty soon those that come at 3 o'clock in the afternoon are going to be able to stay afterwards and have some of Earnest B's barbecue, because the truck's going to be there. The ribs and the sausages and the turkeys and chickens are going to be smoking. And boy, I said it before, I say it again. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Yeah.
And you've had not only the support of your family, you've got a great congregation that has followed you, and I know that whenever there is a need and you say, hey, is there anybody that can help? They come out of the woodwork to help you, and that's great, because that's what every pastor needs from their congregation, and that's what every leader needs from their followers.
Even with the church, Stuart, I've been really blessed just to have so many different civic groups in Frisco. I'm a Rotarian, Rotary Club Frisco. We meet every Thursday at Crest Infinity, where I started. I'm an ambassador for Chamber, so I go and volunteer my time and open and do ribbon cuts. We're having our Christmas party tonight. I sit on board of directors now for Melody of Hope. So I sit on the board of directors for Melody of Hope right here in Frisco, and just my hands is probably all over the city, just trying to do whatever I can to just make sure I do my part. And if I can make a difference or a deposit in somebody's life, that's what I do. So I'm very entitled in the way this city moving in all kinds of ways. So, but I think I waited my time. I've been serving others for so long, and it's never been about me. And like I say, even the catering company just showed up on the 7th. I never tried to flex, try to put the catering company out there. I just always represented Empowerment Church. And when I was at Crest, it was Crest Infinity. And then God came back, like you said, you prophesied, you said I came full circle. So full circle meaning God didn't forget about the catering. So me and my wife sold out of the business, but we didn't sell the Earnest B product. So now we got a fresh product. We're ready to roll. And I feel like Frisco is a great fit.
You were just a volcano waiting to erupt.
That's good. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. So in a perfect world, this coming year in 2021, you're going to launch the Earnest B's on wheels.
Yeah.
I think you said it, and I think you should put that on the truck. Blessings on wheels.
Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna write that down, Stuart, so I won't forget it, and I'm gonna put that down because that's what it is.
Yeah, blessings on wheels, and so now, long range forecast. What does Earnest B see for his church, for his barbecue catering business, and all you see more trucks on the road, getting a big staff of people, and
Yeah. Well, what I really see, Stuart, first and foremost, is I never want to lose focus of what my purpose is the church. Okay, my ministry is the number one thing that means so much to me is our ministry. We desire building. You know, I desire my own building. I've been 4 years in different locations trying to hold a ministry together. Our church has done such an amazing job. It's amazing how we've been able to hold the church together and help so many people. But I would like to have my own facility that we could, I really want a place where I can have outreach center, that I can really have a distribution where the heart of what I do is just help people. So I would like to have, it's a whole lot of things that I want to have. I want our church to secure a facility. Now, the catering company right now, we're not going to go full blast every single day. I'm going to be doing it 3 days a week. Okay. Because I got to balance my time.
Sure.
Make sure that I can still, you know, at the ministry and do all the stuff that I do. But ultimately, I would like to have one day in our future another sit down restaurant in Frisco, Texas, because I just feel it's a great fit. You got another, you know, it's 215,000 people in Frisco right now. It's a projected goal of 3 to 5 years, another 240 coming to Frisco. So it's so much more growth coming. And I feel like our timing of us being here is going to let us kind of grow with the city. So I think we're in the right time for all of this stuff to come to pass.
Well, you know, if you need a waiter or a host or something like that, I might know somebody.
Okay.
I'll work for rib tips.
Okay. Yeah. You do a taste test to make sure everything's going out right.
Yeah, I'll start as a taster.
Yeah, and we're gonna get Mark some real barbecue shipped to up there to Gaylord, Michigan. You know, we're gonna get him some.
That's right. And you're gonna have to send it up there by a snowmobile or so up to him. Yeah. There he goes. See, he's flashing on the screen. Blessings on wheel.
Yeah. Good, I thank you, man, for this interview.
And what you said about expanding the church, I think is something that's been in the back of your brain ever since you started with it, is because I know that you want to preach your services and all, and to do it, you know, Sunday afternoons at 3:00. I know you, Ernest, and I know that there is a need for Bible studies. There's a need for things for the youth. Sunday schools, and to have your own facility will allow you that luxury of being able to reach a broader audience and to have more programs for people to be involved in. And I know that's part of your plan, and I don't doubt that you and the good Lord are going to make it happen.
Well, I'll tell you what, the 3:00 service is not what we would call a popular time for church, because most church services are in the morning. Or even late in the evening, but 3:00. But I'm gonna tell you what, I adopted this principle. Is I'm so thankful. Hope Fellowship, Pastor John McKenzie has been such a support to Empowerment Church, and just for God to open a door, I'm in a place of saying yes. So I trust even 3:00, even though it seems inconvenient, it's really a great time for me to develop certain areas we need to grow in, and just to see God open a door and a partnership with me and Pastor John, that his heart is for people like mine, and it just kind of gels together. So 3:00 service to me is just an amazing time, and I'm contented until the next opportunity opens itself up, that we get closer to our goal and vision. We're just gonna do what we do well, and just be faithful in what we're doing. So I'm thankful for God and all the things He's done for me.
Well, I want people to stay in touch with you also, not only to enjoy your barbecue and all, but stay in touch with Pastor Earnest, because as you get back out there to serving the public on Saturday mornings and all, I know firsthand, because I've tried to provide, you know, clothing when I could for those people that just walk and for people just to say, hey, listen, I'm going to get you some toiletries, and I'm going to get you some sweat socks, and get you some things for you to pass out. it's easy for us as givers because you're the one that's distributing it, and it's needed, and you shouldn't have to bear all of that burden to be out there to try and get everything that those people need. We as a community need to rally around and support things like this, like we do so many other things. You mentioned that Frisco Family Services. We've got food banks that need help. And well, it's fine to provide for the food banks, but when you can provide for somebody that's going to take it and give it directly to the people that need it, that's an added blessing. And you've been doing it again only 4 years. I mean, you are one of the most focused individuals that I've ever met.
Yeah.
You got a game plan, and that's what everybody really needs to do. You need to overlook that short-term vision and look long-term. What do I want to do with my life? What do I want to do with it a year from now, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? And I know that, within the next few years, we're all going to be sitting down having a good meal at Earnest B's barbecue. I'm going to be one of them.
Yes,
you betcha.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
So your vision for the future with the church is to have your own facility. Those that are listening and watching, keep that in mind too, because when that happens, there's going to be a need to rally behind this young man in establishing that church. You got the barbecue business going. I'm so excited about the vehicle. I'm so anxious to see that. We've got the rail yard here in Frisco that is a group of food trucks, and maybe they're going to have to make a space over there for Earnest B.
Yes, sir. Blessings on wheels. # blessings on wheels. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that.
So I'm going to, the other thing too, I want to say, now we're coming up on Christmas. It's a very holy time of the year for everyone. What are your blessings for the world as we get closer to this holiday?
Okay, so one of the things, thank you, Mark Fernandez. One of the things my deal is, I've been praying for just peace, that the world can come in a place of peace. At this time, I think partnership and relationships are so important. Me and you in two different times in terms of age, but you just like one of my greatest friends. I could call you for anything. A friend we share together is Mike Martin, was a former customer of mine at Crest Infinity. And before I can even get going in Frisco, he didn't went out from Frisco Lakes. He didn't went throughout the city of Frisco and telling people about Ernest Morgan. I'm a African-American gentleman from Mississippi, and he from a whole other part of the world. But at that time, I realized that God had placed the greatest of people around me to help facilitate all the things he had put in my heart. And I never take relationships for granted. I've been praying for more relationships to be developed through this time, because I'm telling you now, if you think about it, regardless if you're rich or poor, it takes everybody had to focus to get through this pandemic. We all waiting on the vaccination, regardless of your economical status, wherever you live, education, degrees, or whatever. It takes relationships. So my prayer is for the world to heal, and also for people to come closer. So I'm praying. The Bible says in 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people which are called by my name would humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, he said, I'll hear from heaven and forgive the sin and heal the land. So the whole thing is, if people would turn from bitterness and hate and violence and just turn to try to find a way to come together as a people, I think the world would be a better place. And I'm doing all I can to make sure Frisco, Texas would remain a place that not only the fastest growing city in economics, but also the fastest growing city in love and peace and equality. You don't want all that. It takes a neighborhood to make this thing happen. So that's my prayer, is for people, regardless of where we're from, that we can unify and be a better people.
Well, we are very, very fortunate. We do live in very much a melting pot of cultures and ethnic backgrounds, and you have two ways to go. Everybody just stays in their own neighborhoods with their blinders on, or you open your doors and you welcome your neighbors and love your neighbors and share their experiences. And I think that there's so much more to be learned by doing that than the former of just saying, I don't care about anybody else. It's just all about me.
Yes.
I know that there is probably not a day in your life that it's ever been about Earnest B. It's always been about everybody else.
Well, I tell you, it's I'm not perfect. I'm a human, okay, and so I'm a man. It's very seldom it's about me, okay. I try to, but I'm human, so I could have been in a selfish place, but nobody would know it. It would be something my wife would have to check me on, or my kids that know me. And sometimes, you don't feel so well about certain things. And I've had to pray this year like never before when I started seeing all the right, just the differences in ethnicity and all this stuff. I want to come home and make sure my heart is pure. 5th chapter, Matthew, blessed is the pure in heart, for they shall see God. So I would always make sure that as I leave, it's never about me. My whole motive. I was talking about feeding the homeless people. I've never received one penny feeding a homeless person. I was ministering with no salary to those people. It was just a call. I felt God had held me accountable to be the person that be salt and light. And so therefore, it's never been about finance. I told you when I left Crest, I took a $60,000 pay cut to start the church. It's never been about money. It's always been about people. And for me doing that, God has always supplied my needs. And so I thank you, Stuart. This time has been so precious to me and our family. We really appreciate it.
Well, the wealth that you have gotten from your life and your ministry is cannot be measured in dollars and cents. It is a wealth that you have because of who you are. And I'm beyond thankful that our friend Jody and Lori McCogran started up that breakfast club, and we sat down about 5 years ago and met each other and just started talking and just started becoming brothers and realizing that there was so much more that we had in common than we had, apart. And it's a lesson that I think everybody can learn. And I know that I'm just pleased as punch for everything that's happened to you in your life, your ministry, Earnest Bar BBQ catering.com. Don't forget.
That's right.
Go online, place an order. It's not a dine-in, it's a delivery. And so to make it easy for you. But I wish you the very, very best, and to Cicely and to your family and to your congregation, the very, very best for a very happy and meaningful holiday season. And we'll have to get together again, maybe over at Up Inspired Kitchen, do breakfast again, and talk about the next move for Pastor Earnest B. Morgan.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Stuart. I really appreciate this time, sir.
Well, you take care. And to those of you that have been watching the show, Earnest B, just a man after my own heart. And tune in again next week for another edition. I'm going to have a very, very special guest next Wednesday. Not going to tell you who it is yet, but I've gone to great lengths to get them on the show. And you tune in again next week. And until then, remember, be yourself, because everyone else is taken. Earnest, be well, my friend. God love you.